Major moves. We going all in, like we got nothing to lose. We making moves. We making major moves. We making moves. We making major moves. We making moves. Making major moves.
Warning, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't blame me or any other random person that gives you some money tips for any of your financial decisions. I provide information based on research that may guide you to taking a deeper look at a particular company. However, in no way am I suggesting to invest or not invest in that company. Your decisions are that of your own. I present information that is readily available on the internet, and I piece together the story to create and provide a more holistic concept to create a bigger picture. This information is for educational purposes only. Ultimately, I'm a guy in a Spider-Man mask, and you should not take financial advice or information from me. Welcome back to my channel. I appreciate every single one of you that join me when I do make videos. I don't make videos daily because I try to come out with content for you, not news. I don't read articles. Well, I do read the articles, but I don't just present you articles. Oh, this happened and no, that happened. I make the real world connection and show you guys the meat and potatoes on what you actually need to know on how things work, because this might not be relevant for you right now. Guaranteed it'll be relevant for you in the future, because when the future reaches your present and you have to recall some memories, you will think to yourself and say, I know how to go about this. This seems familiar for some reason. I don't know how or why, but this is what we can do, or this is the avenue we can go. I'm not here for financial advice. I don't give financial advice. I'm not a money person to present that for you guys. I don't meet the requirements for that, nor did I go to school for that. But let's jump into this, okay? Again, not financial advice. Here we go. This is a deeper dive into the Stellar partnership with UNHCR, which is the United Nations. And I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to put the pieces together for you guys to show you how this all came about. Not just, oh, this is the partnership, the end. I'm going to show you how this came about. So, if you remember back in December, this says the 16th. It was actually the 15th when I found out. This is an article that came out later. Stellar partnership with the United Nations to give Ukrainian refugees cash via USDC. So the USD Circle coin is going to be using XLM rails, to present money, USDC, US money, to the Ukrainian refugees there. Here's that partnership. The partnership here, the new partnership was established back in 2017 with the World Bank and the UN. At this point here, the World Bank is the funding partner or entity for the United Nations for these displaced individuals. All right, here we go. So here's that partnership that they formed, the Joint Data Center on Forced Displacement. This is the joint, or the task force of team that they had partnership that they had forced for the UN and the World Bank here. The impact of forced displacement on housing and urban settlement in host communities. And it goes on, what they work on here: strengthening systems and standards, producing data and analysis, enhancing safe and responsible data access, building evidence, and sharing knowledge. Interesting, it's all about data, isn't it? Notice the donors here. These are all, I want to say, NATO allies. Notice this one here. This is the big one I'm going to show you guys today. The EU. Pay attention to that. The European Union, the EU, pay attention, okay? I will tie this all back to them. So, back in 2017, Bitcoin isn't a currency nor a payment instrument, Ukraine's central bank has said. Ukraine's central bank is the National Bank of Ukraine, NBU. Alright? So follow me with this here. The National Bank of Ukraine, NBU, has revealed its stance on digital currencies like Bitcoin. at a time when it's developing a legal and regulatory framework for cryptocurrencies in the country. The deputy of head Ukraine's central bank, Oleg Chury, has revealed that the NBU will not recognize cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin as currencies. The official was speaking at the Ukrainian Financial Forum when he also claimed that cryptocurrencies will not be recognized as a legal method of payment in Ukraine, unlike Japan where it was legal at the time. Alright, so I'm going to fast forward here. This is the Ukraine website here, National Bank's website on YouTube here. This is going to be a quick, 2-minute video here. He's just talking about the, I'll let you watch it.
Colleagues from the BIS produced what is called as this money flower. And I think as we keep doing our pilots, we might need to add more petals to this flower. So now starting to move a little bit on what are we seeing based on some statistics. This is a very recent report from the BIS, and I'm not sure whether all of you have seen it, but just to kind of point out some key highlights. We are seeing a rapid increase in the interest in CBDC. As you can see from the graph, from 2018 to 2019, there's been a rapid increase in the number of central banks which are interested and engaging in some form.
So this is a year after what we were just looking at. Bitcoin is not considered legal tender in Ukraine. This is back in 2017.
The CBDC work. And I talked about earlier in terms of the two different uses, in terms of the retail payments as general purpose.
Bitcoin does not allow for a CBDC to exist. Only Bitcoin can exist on the Bitcoin rails. Nothing else can exist on Bitcoin rails, to my understanding. If I'm wrong with that, by all means, please put something down in the comment for me and teach me like I'm teaching you guys as well. Let's continue to learn together and grow together.
And then wholesale, and then also some central banks are of course working on both. And between 2018 and 2019, what we are seeing is central banks are starting to work on both of them, and there's a slight increase related to that. And in terms of what is the nature of work, experiments, proof of concept, and then some of them are engaging in pilot arrangements. So at this point, it is predominantly with respect to research, and of course, Ukraine is one of the few countries which actually went ahead and conducted a pilot. And this chart is very interesting in terms of the motivations for.
So, we learned that Ukraine was launching a pilot. All right, this is back in 2018, 2019 now. So let's move forward, okay? So here we're in 2021 now. The Ministry of Digital Affairs and partners are launching a pilot project that will help in the development of the e-Hryvnia. I think that's how you pronounce it. That's Ukraine's digital dollar. Notice the date, December 15th again. Notice that date, December 15th. We are launching one of the pilot projects of electronic money, which will make it possible to study the potential of using technological solutions, in particular blockchain technology, in the development of the e-Hryvnia. For Ukrainians, the electronic Hryvnia can make money transfer significantly cheaper and increase the security of personal finances. As part of this pilot, part of the employees of the Dia State enterprise will receive electronic money with the possibility of programming. Interesting. Alright. So here we are. This should have been first. This is January, before December. Ukraine government partners with Stellar XLM for their CBDC project, which was at the beginning of my presentation today. So we're aware of this already. Okay. So here we go. Fast forward now. We're on December 2016, 2021 now. NBU, the National Bank of Ukraine, and the Ministry of the Digital Dollar Transformation compete for e-Hryvnia that does not exist yet. So you have two entities, the NBU and you have the Ministry of Digital Transformation. We are launching one of the pilot electronic money projects that will allow us to explore the potential of using technological solutions in the development of the e-Hryvnia. This is stated in a report posted. I wonder if it'll open now. It didn't open for me last time. For whatever reason. It did when I was at work, but it didn't. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's what I'm looking at. Okay. What project Ministry of Digital Transformation is implementing? The pilot project is being implemented by Tascom Bank, the fintech company BIT, and Stellar DF, with support of the Ministry of the Digital Transformation. This project will allow the Ministry of Digital Transformation and the National Bank to analyze the effectiveness of technological solutions that can be used in the e-Urbania development. Notice though, on the other page, the top here, it makes it seem like it's they're competing for, like there's a competition. But down here, as we read, they're both analyzing it. Oh yeah, there's no competition, they're working together, okay? National banks react to the Ministry of... Oh, so this is here. The result of the project are expected to be obtained in 2022. National Bank's reaction to the Ministry of Digital Transformation announcement about an hour after the information about the project appeared, the NBU published its announcement. And here it is. I wonder if it'll open. The NBU website worked for me earlier, but it hasn't been working today. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why it's not working right now. I'll let that load and we'll just continue on. Perfect. So here we go. This is the Ministry of Digital Transformation. Our mandate, a new way to address the end-to-end consumption and delivery of goods and services to customer using appropriate digital technology. Our aim, increase access, improve digital literacy, notice here, improve digital literacy. Remember that one. Improve governance efficiency, reduce bottlenecks, opportunities for our development and entrepreneurs. Our core values are hope, capacity development, responsiveness, trust, credibility, participation, and transparency. Still loading? Okay. We'll keep going. So here we go. This is what I find... Did it load up? No, it didn't load up. This is what I find very, very intriguing here, folks. So this here is the National Council for Recovery of Ukraine from the consequences of the war. This is a draft Ukraine recovery plan. Now, remember when I said to take note of the EU? I'm going to tie that into this now. Materials of the Digitalization Working Group. This is from July 2022. As we read some of the, just some of the contents here, stage, the wartime economic and institution, all for the victory. Okay. Short-term activity from June 2022 until the end of 2022. So some of those are development, here I'll let you see them, of public e-services, public e-services, we'll get into that. Institution of development of the DIA centers, DIIA centers. That's these guys right here. They're one of the biggest companies in Ukraine. Development of public electronic registers. Post-war reconstruction of Ukraine's infrastructure is taking place with the help and based on open data. Here is where it gets interesting. Down here. Modernization stage. They already have this whole thing planned out, huh? Structural modernization and complete integration into the EU. Ukraine will become a part of the EU. I spoke to my buddy today. He's Ukrainian. And I wasn't too sure if Ukraine was part of the EU. I wasn't too sure what they were a part of. But he confirmed to me today that they're not a part of the EU. But according to this sheet here, post-war, Ukraine will be integrated into Ukraine. Ukraine will be integrated into EU. So, development of public e-services. Ukraine is a digital hub. If you've been wondering why the US and Canada have been sending a buttload of money over to Ukraine, now you know why. Ukraine is a digital hub. That takes a lot of startup money to make something like that happen, okay? Where was I looking at? So, impact of the war on the industry. Since the beginning of activities phase of hostilities, the number of vacancies in the IT market in Ukraine has halved. 22% of optical networks, and almost 11% of mobile towers were destroyed. Losses of digital infrastructure. So now they lost digital infrastructure. Their digital infrastructure wasn't fantastic to begin with. Here's a pun for you. It wasn't stellar to begin with. But with all this new money being thrown into Ukraine, they can become that hub that they're looking to be now. I hope my page doesn't get blown up here, because I'm blowing up the scene here with Ukraine here. Maybe I should just stop saying Ukraine. Anyways, stage wartime economics and institutions for the victory, ensuring the stable functioning of the digital economy, restoration of destroyed digital infrastructure, like I said. Alright, introduction of comprehensive electronic public services. Let's jump forward to 2023, 2025. Recovery stage. Recovery, relaunch of the economy and institutions. Alright, remember that. Development of the digital economy and post-war reconstruction of Ukraine with the help and on the basis of open data, development of internet networks, connection of Asia and Scandinavian countries through Ukraine by main internet traffic through the Black Sea. There you go. Electronic translation of key public services, expansion of modernization and the administrative services center network. Development of potential of the national cybersecurity ecosystem. The modernization stage now. Creation of most favorable conditions. Look at the dates though. 2026 to 2032. Creation of the most favorable conditions for the function of the digital economy. Ukraine is a digital hub. Notice how they say Ukraine is a digital hub now. They're not working on infrastructure. They are. For Asian and European backbone internet traffic. I told you they'll become a part of the UK. We saw it here. Most public services are available in electronic form, and the number and quality of public services in the administrative services center is increased. Develop cybersecurity ecosystem and active cyber defense capabilities. You will not hear this anywhere else. You will not hear this anywhere else, all right? Let's keep going down this rabbit hole here. DIA mobile application, a case study report, implementation of digital services ecosystem by the government of Ukraine. I do hope my page lasts through this here. I took a deep dive here, and if this ends up being the last show because my YouTube page gets blown up, it was all worth it, and maybe I'll make a backup page. But let's keep going down this rabbit hole. This is prepared by Senator Colin Deakin. All right. Before the launch of the digitalization reform in 2019, data from the government of Ukraine revealed that public authorities and local governments provide more than 2,000 distinct public services. During this period, 92% of Ukraine's population did not use online public services. You see that? They had zero infrastructure. 92%. 8% was using online. 92% did not. And offline public services were considered inconvenient, time-consuming, financially costly, and non-transparent. So the government didn't want to spend money on that infrastructure that was offline stuff. They wanted to get online. But how do you get somebody online? You have a war. You get other countries to flood that particular country with money, and then you can create whatever you want to create. I have an idea, maybe like a digital hub. Electronic services were offered on a range of government portals with different interfaces, standards, and e-identification methods, which users found highly inconvenient. Before the reform, these online services were automated without paper, re-engineering, or user-friendly. There was no single approach to re-engineering and launching e-services. Another disadvantage was that e-services were not properly accessible on smartphones. Again, watch the come up of Ukraine. Stay with that. So if you recall, we were talking about institutions. Here we go. With EU support, Ministry of Digital Transformation and Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine presented the primary results of the pilot project updated informatics. Okay, that's an interesting word. That was from September. So now they're in the institutions, okay? Education. The Ministry of Digital Transformation. Remember that term? The Ministry of Digital Transformation? Where was these guys? Where are these guys? Right here. The Ministry of Digital Transformation. Notice them? Digital Transformation. This is who they are. The Ministry of Digital Transformation, okay? Let's stick with that. And the Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine, within the framework of, whatever that says, their program, funded by the European Union, presented the primary results of the pilot project, Updated Informatics, IT Studios, and the outcome of the first quarter of 2022-2023 academic year. So this year was a continued pilot, the pilot for education itself. We had learned that a couple of pages back. Updated Informatics IT Studios involves leading Ukrainian experts to create educational content, effectively applying the latest digital technologies in teaching. The latest, because they have the money to now, because of this war. Learning and assessment of students from 1 to 11 grades. It is also planned to involve representatives of IT clusters and IT associations of Ukraine, who are all ready to provide technological expertise in creating new topics that were not previously included in the school subject, computer science. All right, here we go. This is a Ukraine country report here now by the BTI Transformation Index here. This is an organization I haven't done much research on here. I don't know much about them, but I found this article very, very interesting, okay? As we go down, I'm looking for a particular section here. Here we go. History and characteristics. From 91, when Ukraine gained independence, and until 2014, the country's process of transformation was determined mainly by the narrow circle of the elite. This class left their mark on the new institutional framework, shaping it to suit their particularistic interests. The sluggish pace of reforms, that's why Ukraine wasn't growing, allowed for the rise of influential industrial economic groups and oligarchs who developed a patron-client relationship with the president. Notice now, again, my page is going to blow up, but notice now, you had the whole Hunter Biden scene blow up just now. You had Joe Biden connected to that as well. They had, I guess, a lot of child sex trafficking going out in Ukraine there. There was a lot of drugs flowing through Ukraine there. Hunter Biden was connected to this. Joe Biden's connected to that. This man's flooding all that money out to Ukraine right now. Why? This development was reinforced by non-transparent, large-scale privatization. Privatization meaning they owned large entities of businesses out in Ukraine. That could be anybody really. That could be you and me. Privatize that. That could be Hunter Biden's. That could be the Bidens. Due to flawed procedures and favoritism, many large enterprises were sold for far below their market value and ended up in the hands of those groups, resulting in what can be called a captured state. Ukraine was captured. That's what happened. Ukraine was captured. Not my words. I had a feeling of this and suspicion of this, and it all came into fruition when I finally read this. Again, another deep dive knocked off for me here with you guys, and I hope you learned something here. So that partnership with Ukraine, Stellar Foundation, and USDC is not as simple as it seems. It's not just, Stellar, XLM, and Ukraine and USDC are shaking hands. There's a lot that led up to that, as I showed you guys. There's a lot. And I wish that webpage for Ukraine had loaded up, because it would have been fantastic to show you what that was all about. Anyways, until the next one, I'll catch you.
Making major moves. We going all in. Like we got nothing to lose. We making moves. We making major moves. We making moves.